What's going on, guys? Welcome to our review on this channel. Today's video we're talking about T-Mobile, and this is going to be the realist review of T-Mobile because a lot of people are talking about this company, and I want to explain some things that they're doing because when people might choose to select T-Mobile, they might be reading a lot of different things about them, and they might not understand exactly what it's all about. So we're going to talk about T-Mobile, and I'm just letting you guys know when I talk about T-Mobile in any video, a lot of people have different opinions, of course, and especially people who might not agree with me and what I say about T-Mobile because they just want to be fans of their company. It happens all the time, or if they work for that company. That's also happened on this channel where people from T-Mobile have commented on the videos. And I'm also going to explain some of the things that they do. Now, first of all, with this unlimited data plan, it's called the T-Mobile One plan, and they still have that. And then for additional $5 per month, you can get the One Plus plan. That is for unlimited data, quote unquote. Again, the reason why we use quotes is because none of these unlimited data plans from any of these companies are really unlimited. Now, the reason why we say that is because if you decide to use a company like T-Mobile and you see that you're using a lot of data, and we're talking about, let's just say, for example, like T-Mobile told me, maybe 50 gigabytes per month, they look at that as a lot of data usage, and you might get your plan canceled just for that amount of usage from their network. Now, if you even go beyond that, say you use hundreds of gigabytes of data, which some people out there like to say they do, that's not what these mobile data plans are for, and I think most people recognize that, but I'm just letting some of you know out there, especially if you're trying to use these mobile data plans like your home internet or anything else like that, it's not for that, because even if you try to use the tethering, which they refer to as hotspot data, with the One Plus plan, again, for an additional $5 per month, and currently there is a promotion from T-Mobile where you don't have to pay for that, it's a free upgrade. There is 10 gigabytes of hotspot data, and then after that, your data is slowed. It gets slowed to 3G. So with T-Mobile, it is interesting because even if you have 3G speed and you're tethering, that could be a great thing for people that want to travel, especially if you're using a laptop or even a tablet, if you want to use your phone for hotspot data. Now, another thing about this, though, is that when you're using your phone, your data that you're using through hotspot data is deprioritized compared to other users using just their phones. And I'll put a link in the description where you guys can read this stuff on T-Mobile's website. That's exactly how it's explained. So there's a variety of factors when using a company like T-Mobile. We have to talk about the services, of course, and then we're comparing pricing. I say that T-Mobile has the best pricing in the market because they're the cheapest. Now, if you can get pricing that can compare to some of these other mobile carriers out there, such as Verizon, AT&T, and Sprint, then we're talking about not only is it a good price, but you're also getting the service that you can use. Now we're also talking about how T-Mobile is when they're advertising their prices or even their customer service. I think their customer service, for the most part, is good. But it's not always perfect, obviously, because with customer service with a lot of these companies, they don't always know what's going on. And I also thought it was very interesting recently when I was talking to T-Mobile, they told me that they had a promotion going on, but it was only for like a half hour. It had to do with not paying the $25 for the SIM card. I think there's a SIM card fee, and some people have commented on my videos about that. The person trying to convince me to get T-Mobile was trying to say this promotion was only for a half hour. And it seems kind of ridiculous because why would there be a promotion only for a half hour? That seems like someone that's trying to sell mobile data plans and they want you to use their company. Which is not a problem with you wanting me to use your company, but there is an issue with you're saying there's a promotion going on for just a half hour. So the more research you do about these companies, the more informed obviously you're going to be. And if you're thinking about using T-Mobile, I think one of the best ideas is to ask people in that area, what do they think about T-Mobile, especially if they're using them or they know people that use them. And then you can realize how good or not their network is. Because if the network is not impressive, then what's the point of going to T-Mobile and using an awful network, but you're getting a good price? But if you are getting a good price and the service is great in your area, T-Mobile is a company you might want to use. Another thing about T-Mobile before using them that you should know, when they have promotions, you really need to know about them as they have them, especially if it's going to save you money, and they're not going to just tell you. That's what it seems like. You're going to be the one that has to get all the information, and you have to be up to date with what their company is doing. So from what I was told from T-Mobile again, is that if you want to upgrade your plan, you could do that at any time, and you could change your plans. So if you see the cheaper price, all you have to do is call T-Mobile. And also I want to explain this, because this is another interesting thing with T-Mobile. The customer service person that was explaining that to me about T-Mobile and that you can call them to upgrade the plan anytime you want, when I was asking them about the people who don't call and they continue to pay additional money, the person was getting annoyed. And what was funny to me about that was that the person was getting so annoyed really quickly, and it was probably because the person was thinking that I was questioning why they would even do that, which I was. But the fact the person was getting annoyed, it just says a lot about T-Mobile because they realize there's a lot of people out there that are paying additional money and they don't have to. Some people might say, well, if you compare that to a company like Verizon, which they're charging charging line access fees. And if you're a current Verizon customer and you already had an older plan, but it's like for 2 years or whatever, and you decided that you want to switch to another plan, say their new unlimited plan, you're going to still have to pay the line access fee, and then you're going to pay more money for that line access fee compared to someone that is just signing up to Verizon now. That's something that you don't have with T-Mobile, and I think that's an advantage with T-Mobile. As far as their pricing, again, it's everything included. As it's advertised, that's exactly what you're going to pay for. Because a lot of people get confused by what their mobile carrier is charging them, and they're not really understanding what they're paying for. And that happens a lot with customers that have to pay for line access fees or some other fees or whatever it is from these mobile carriers. And what T-Mobile has changed now is including everything. Now, another thing that people notice when I talk about T-Mobile, they're saying, wow, you're saying a lot of great things about T-Mobile, but you also criticize them. Yes, I criticize T-Mobile so we can see changes with them that could be better for consumers. When they were charging for HD video and they stopped that, I thought that was fantastic because they really shouldn't be doing that. Although, again, it is $5 additional for the One Plus plan, so you can get the unlimited HD video. At least that's how T-Mobile explained it to me. But currently, again, it's a free promotion, free upgrade. Now, also, you talk about the One Plus International. So if you're making international phone calls, that's an additional $25. You can get unlimited hotspot data. So for a lot of you out there that might be using hotspot data, you might want to use something like that. It's really about how you're going about using your phone, how much data that you're using per month, because also T-Mobile has data plans where you can spend money per gigabyte. And the link's in the description to these pages so you guys can read more about T-Mobile if you're thinking about using them. For $40 per month, you're going to get 3 gigabytes of data, and it says 4G LTE data. $50 per month, it's 5 gigabytes per month, and you get 4G LTE data. And then it's $60 per month, and you're getting 10 gigabytes of 4G LTE data. So you look at it this way, even additional fees, if you make international phone calls, $5 per month if you're calling Canada and Mexico. And if you're calling over to Europe also, it's additional $15. So there's additional prepaid plans, but these are basically the main ones they show on the page. And then if you go over here to the T-Mobile One Plus page, and we just start at one line of service, currently, it is $70 per month, and that's at auto pay, and everything's included. Then you go for 2 lines, it's $50 each, so you're spending $100. Again, everything included. And then if you want 3 lines, currently $47 per line, and that's $140 per month. And for 4 lines, it's $40 per line, and that's $160 per month, everything included. Now, the important thing about this, again, is everything included. So you're getting exactly what they're saying, and you're paying exactly as they advertise, which I think is really good. Now, if you talk about anything additional that you would like, such as international calls, that's going to cost you some extra money. But again, you know what the price is going to be. And this is where T-Mobile has an advantage compared to their competitors like AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint. And as far as the hotspot data, yes, there is deprioritization going on there, but if people are informed and they realize that their mobile hotspot data is not a priority to T-Mobile, and they realize that it can be deprioritized after using 10 gigabytes of data per month, then I would think, okay, fine, that's how T-Mobile is managing their network. So just again about the deprioritizing of data, because this might be confusing to a lot of people out there. Basically what T-Mobile is doing is looking at how much data the average user uses, and this is just really based on their network, and currently it's at 30 gigabytes. So if you exceed that 30 gigabytes and there's a lot of people using T-Mobile service in the area that you're located, your experience could be slowed because other people would be using the data and they would basically go ahead of you, like if you were on a line to buy tickets for an event. Honestly, that's the way I look at this. In a situation with T-Mobile, they say that you manage your network like that because if someone is using so much data to them, they wouldn't want the other people who are not using as much data to have their data slowed because there's certain people that use a lot of data. It's at 30 gigabytes. It changes again. T-Mobile looks at it every quarter. That's what T-Mobile told me. This is literally network management. And the reason why I'm even talking about this is because just because you use T-Mobile and there's people that say they use so many gigabytes out there, these mobile data plans, again, are not for that either. So if you're going to use hundreds of gigabytes, it's not about that. This is about T-Mobile saying, you know what, 30 gigabytes to us is a lot of data usage, even for an unlimited data plan, and we can deprioritize your data after that because there's other people on the network not using as much data. Now, for me, when I hear the phrase unlimited data, of course, I'm saying, you know what? That should be unlimited. And why are you trying to get people not to use as much data, especially when you even have some kind of promotion where if you don't use as much data, you can get some money back. I think it's less than 2 gigabytes of data. And this is the situation in this industry. It's not just T-Mobile. We have T-Mobile, Verizon, Sprint, and AT&T. And they all deprioritize data. Because if you look at the unlimited data plans, this is how these companies manage their networks. So with T-Mobile in particular, because this video is about T-Mobile, we have to talk about exactly what they're doing because people want to know what kind of service they would get from T-Mobile. If you use a lot of data with T-Mobile and you notice slower service at some points in time, whether you're in a certain area of the country, it doesn't just mean it's about the service that you're getting from that network, like there's an issue. It can actually be about the fact that they're deprioritizing your data. So I would say you should really look at how much data you use per month and then figure out which plan is best for you. And honestly, for people that use unlimited data plans, the reason why we even talk about deprioritizing data, or the fact that T-Mobile would slow hotspot data or prioritize average regular phone usage like text messaging, internet. When you have games on your phone, there's background data or other applications that use that. T-Mobile is prioritizing that usage compared to hotspot data. And that's why I posted a link the other day with one of my videos, is because when you see how T-Mobile describes all of this, they're telling you what they prioritize compared to the services that you're getting. So if you decide to use like hotspot data and you notice it might be slow, it could be for a variety of reasons, not necessarily a problem with T-Mobile's network. Now, some of you guys out there might say, well, that is a problem because why are they prioritizing other usage when I'm paying for the hotspot data? That is valid to say because you are paying for unlimited data service, and this is the reason why we talk about this. Again, some people think it's just about criticizing T-Mobile. No, we're actually trying to ask the questions. If your network is one of the best, like you say, then why would you prioritize certain services that you're providing to consumers and not others or all of them? You know, why don't you prioritize everything? Because the consumer is a priority. So that's really what I'm trying to say. Now, as far as the hotspot data, I can get why T-Mobile would want to do that, because if you tether, which is another way to describe hotspot data, when you use your computer like that, like a tablet or even your phone, and you're using your phone like that, you're going to use a lot more data. Obviously, you go into a bunch of web pages, you might be watching videos, so T-Mobile knows that, and that's why they prioritize their other usage, so other people on the network are not inconvenienced by people that use a lot of data. Now, is 30 gigabytes a lot of data? Again, it depends on how you use your phone. If you see the average usage of your phone, and I've seen the average usage of my phone, and I've talked about this in other videos where I was looking at how much Wi-Fi I use compared to the mobile network. The way I use my phone, I don't use a lot of mobile data unless I'm traveling, because I know that the network is looking at that usage and could deprioritize my experience when I'm using their network. So again, I don't use a lot of mobile data because I don't want my mobile data being deprioritized. And people saying that they never got their data deprioritized, if you use any mobile network, even your home internet, everyone has had their data deprioritized at some point in time. I'm saying that, everyone. Networks manage data. And if you think that your background data was never deprioritized, I know from my experience, it's pretty ridiculous for anyone to say out there that their data was never deprioritized. These companies are not notifying you and saying, here is when you're using your phone. Here is when it was deprioritized. This is exactly when it happened. They're not doing that. And the reason why they don't do that is because it's not good for their company to continuously tell people that their experience was slowed because they use a lot of data, especially when they're using an unlimited data plan. And that's the way I look at T-Mobile and think those are the kind of things people want to know before even using their company. But I would like to know what you guys think about all of this. Post your comments down below. Let me know what you think about T-Mobile. And of course, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.